Well, welcome to part 2 in our series from Tech Alpharetta here in Alpharetta, Georgia. I'm Scott Danner with RestorePoint, and this is my partner in crime, Ted Walters with RestorePoint.
Thanks.
Welcome, Ted.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So today we're here to talk a little IoT Studio, a favorite subject of Ted's. So let's get right to it. Ted, tell me a little bit about IoT Studio. What is it?
Well, IoT Studio is an application that we run on our Plasma platform to help companies manage the data that's being created by their IoT solution.
So give me a little bit more. So tell me, how does it help a company manage their IoT solutions?
Well, that's a great question. So IoT solutions are meant to create more data, and you need to make better decisions when you get that data. So you have the data coming in from your application, you have the data coming off the device, and something near and dear to my heart is the data usage that you have on your LTE or cellular 5G connectivity. So everything takes a SIM card these days, right? So we make sure that customers can manage that connectivity, and then we add the value in from those data sources that come from the device and from your application, your IoT application that's actually the business data that you're looking for.
Okay. So I can see it, but bring it home for me. So how are you bringing all that data, that connectivity, the IoT sensors, how are you bringing all that together?
Sure. So we stood up Plasma, as you know, and that is where all of that data comes in, right? So we take the data sources, whatever that might be. We've already integrated with all of the carriers, all that information, the usage information from the carriers, and we take all the different sources and we bring it into Plasma. And the presentation layer for Plasma for our IoT customers is IoT Studio. So that's where the end user, your company, your end user at your company, your enterprise, can visualize all of that information. You see it analyzed, visualized, and you can make decisions on how to best manage your IoT business, whether that be the usage or the device, or the application. And what you want to do is be able to make sure and monetize that IoT business. Because you started this business to make a little bit more money, maybe to add more value to the overall business that you've already run, and now that connectivity and that IoT solution, they have to come together and make sure that it's a profitable business for you. And frankly, a lot of customers in my history at AT&T and Cisco, they weren't able to monetize their IoT solution because they just weren't able to manage the connectivity properly.
Got it. That sounds awesome. You mentioned visualization. So do this for me. Paint the picture. Help me visualize a use case and what value that's bringing to one of your clients. You don't have to mention the client. Just go through what it means to them.
Sure. We have a client that has a mobile point of sale solution, and they're providing the connectivity free of charge. So their value is that if they believe that if their customer is going to swipe a lot of credit cards, they're going to make money. But some of those end devices are not being used for just swiping credit cards. So they've got some devices out there that are not necessarily profitable. So you have to be able to see that. If you can't see it, you can't take any action, right? So now that we've given them the ability to see that information, now they can take action and ensure that their IoT business remains a profitable solution for their enterprise.
Gotcha. That's a very interesting use case. Just off the top of your head, are there any others that are out there that might be commonplace that you see?
Sure. We do a lot with IoT companies, but we also do a lot with what I'll call a managed service provider or an SD-WAN provider, voice over IP provider. What we see is a lot of companies switching to SD-WAN, and they need to have another connection to that enterprise, to that small office, say at a doctor's office or a retail location. They need to have cellular as a backup. And so we're providing LTE or cellular to a managed service provider, and they're providing to their end customer a way to back up that location so that they can continue to do business even if that wired connection goes down. And the wired connections are expensive, so you could do 2 wired connections, or you can do a wired connection and back it up with LTE. Very inexpensive, very easy to deploy, very easy to manage. And that's a great use case for LTE. You're going to see it more and more companies that instead of doing 2 wired connections, do a wired connection and a failover as LTE. Heck, we even see some start with LTE because it takes a long time to get that wired connection out to that place of business. So it's been a big value add for our MSPs and the providers to their end customer.
Wow, that's a lot of use cases. So next question, I probably have 2 more questions. This question is availability. So where is this service available?
That's a great question. So we have integrated with all the domestic carriers. We've integrated Plasma with all the domestic carriers. And then we also are global now. So you can have a device, an IoT device or a place of business anywhere around the globe, and you will be able to monitor and manage, visualize the connectivity and the usage in one platform, one place, one pane of glass. So just being able to do that, the value add there is fantastic. I can take LTE, I can deploy that SIM card anywhere in the world, and we can provide that to you and give you one place to view all of that.
Awesome. So my last question, how do I get in contact and how do I get started?
Ted.Walters at RestorePoint.ai. Go to our website, RestorePoint.ai, if you like. Any way you want to get a hold of us, we'll make sure and get back to you just as quickly as we can.
All right. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. I didn't like